Welcome to the Brain Fit podcast, where we share the cutting edge science on how you can improve your memory and live a happier, healthier life. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays. This is the Christmas version of my podcast, and I'm delighted to be here with you. My name's Robert Love. I'm a neuroscientist, and I have a medical clinic in Florida where we are reversing Alzheimer's in our patients. Today, I'm actually doing this Christmas special because I wanted to kind of involve you in the process, and I'm delighted to be here with you. So I'm going to answer some questions that I got from Instagram here on this podcast, and I hope this is helpful to you, and I sincerely hope that you and your family have a wonderful holiday season. Whatever holidays you celebrate or practice, this is a great time to be with family, to be with people that we love, and to relax and enjoy. So first, this is the most interesting thing happening as far as health, and probably one of the most important things for women's health. It is the removal of the black box warning on hormone replacement therapy for women. When I was growing up until just a couple weeks ago, women were warned about hormone replacement therapy. They were warned that there was an increased risk of cancer. It turns out that study was very poorly done and poorly reported on. New research, the new finding is that hormone replacement therapy, HRT, especially when you use bioidentical hormones, can be not only extremely safe, but extremely beneficial for women in perimenopause and in menopause. So women as young as 40, women are going through menopause and perimenopause younger and younger. We think because of the stress, certainly in the Western world, and the stress as well as the environmental toxins. We don't know what the impact is of microplastics, forever chemicals, glyphosate, chemicals in the food, air, and water. We don't know all the impact. One of the impacts may be earlier development of perimenopause and menopause. And this is related to Alzheimer's disease directly. Perimenopause and menopause dramatically increases the risk of Alzheimer's disease. And it's not just an age-related issue. I mean, that is part of it. It is part of an age-related issue. So it's not just age, but it is also a lack of hormones. Women, I don't know if you know this, women are 2/3 of Alzheimer's cases. So women are twice as likely to get Alzheimer's as men. Women are 66% of Alzheimer's cases. Men are only 33%. Interestingly, men are more likely to get Parkinson's than women. So I want you to know about this because this is a really important decision you are going to get to make with a competent doctor about what is best for you and your health. If you or someone you love has Alzheimer's or another form of dementia, I want you to know there is hope. Alzheimer's is preventable and it is even reversible. In fact, we are reversing Alzheimer's in my medical clinic here in Florida. My partner and medical director is Dr. Josh Hellman, a medical doctor trained at Harvard who specializes in preventing and reversing Alzheimer's disease, and we are reversing Alzheimer's in our patients. If you'd like to learn more about working with us to both prevent Alzheimer's and even reverse Alzheimer's and reverse memory loss associated with other forms of dementia, we would love to hear from you and send you some free information so you can learn what we are doing and see if it's a fit for you to come down and work with us in our clinic. We also work with other clinics around the country to help patients both prevent Alzheimer's as well as to reverse Alzheimer's and reverse memory loss associated with dementia. So if you'd like to learn more, go to brainpowerclinics.com. Go to brainpowerclinics.com and then enter your information. We will send you some free information, and then we hope to work with you, if we can be helpful to you, to help you prevent and reverse Alzheimer's disease. So let me first start with the new findings. The new findings are that before they used to wait until menopause to start hormone replacement therapy. The thought was, okay, once you're going through perimenopause, we want to finish that cycle. And then once you're in menopause, then we'll replace the hormones. That was the thinking, and they thought that was the safest and most effective thing to do. The new finding is that we actually want to start at perimenopause. So women as young as 40 or women who are beginning to go through perimenopause. That is actually the best time to start hormone replacement therapy, specifically hormone replacement therapy with bioidentical hormones. And what this does is when you do effective hormone replacement therapy with a specialist who knows what they're doing with bioidentical hormones, this helps your body transition through perimenopause with fewer side effects, fewer symptoms, and it keeps your brain and your organs fully functioning. I was recently at a cutting-edge anti-aging conference, And there was talk on women's health, and I was one of the few men in the group. And I said, tell me about this. Why is it important to start at perimenopause and not wait until menopause? And the expert shared why. She shared that by starting at perimenopause, it does a number of things. Number one, it helps support the woman through the transition of perimenopause to menopause. So there's a lot of symptoms and side effects that women experience. Hot flashes, just one of them. Poor memory, that's a major symptom that women feel during perimenopause. So hot flashes, poor memory, trouble sleeping, hot and cold flashes, low energy, brain fatigue, mood swings. These are all serious symptoms that not only affect your health, but also affect your quality of life. Hormone replacement therapy at perimenopause may reduce these symptoms so that way it's much more gentle. That is a darn big deal. Next, bioidentical hormones are the ones that are thought to be most safe and effective. Of course, check with your doctor first. I recommend working with a specialist who specializes in hormone replacement therapy. Someone who I have worked with, someone who I've referred patients to, her name is Dr. Sharon Stills. Dr. Stills is in Arizona. She does a lot of public-facing education. She does lots of podcast interviews. I've interviewed her for different programs that I've done. I've been on her programs. Dr. Sharon Stills is a true expert in hormone optimization for women in perimenopause, so women 40 and older. That's all she does. That is her specific focus, is women 40 and older, helping to optimize hormones in the safest, most effective way possible. Something she taught me is that most doctors are measuring hormones ineffectively. They're measuring them the wrong way. The right way to measure hormones in a woman is 24-hour wet urine. It's not blood. It's 24-hour wet urine. So if your quote unquote specialist is not doing 24-hour wet urine, they're not using the best science to measure hormones in your body. That's just one thing I learned from Dr. Sharon Stills. Her last name is spelled Stills. She's in Arizona. You can search her name. We'll link to her. Link to her website down below if you'd like to learn more. As she has a lot of programs on hormone replacement therapy, education, and you can work with her as a patient. You do need to see her in Arizona to work with her because you need to be there so she can measure this stuff. Next, why is it so important to start at perimenopause? Well, number one, it reduces the symptoms you experience during perimenopause. But number two, it helps your organs function optimally. This is a darn big deal. So if you wait until menopause, so as you go through perimenopause, the hormones, estrogen and progesterone and testosterone are decreasing. Then you get to menopause, and then they want to put you on HRT there to bring them back up when you were in your 40s. And so that was the old thinking. The new thinking is, let's keep you at this level the whole time and give you hormones throughout this time to keep you functioning at your optimal level. Why is this important? Well, this keeps your brain and your organs functioning at that high level. This is really, really important. And so during perimenopause, hormones are dropping and organ function is dropping, including brain function. I don't think you want that. So you want to maintain a super healthy brain throughout perimenopause and then into menopause. So you don't want it to dip during the 5 or 10 years of perimenopause, however long that cycle is for you. You want to keep your organs functioning optimally. So the big lesson that I learned from this cutting edge anti-aging conference and this health conference is that hormone replacement therapy is now super duper safe. According to the new research, the black box label on hormones replacement has been removed, and the optimal time to start hormone replacement therapy is no longer at menopause. It is at perimenopause, ideally the beginning of perimenopause, to keep your organs functioning optimally through perimenopause to reduce symptoms and keep your organs functioning properly. That way, when you're into menopause, things are working really, really well. What other questions do you have that I can answer? So if you're already in menopause, you can start. That's a great question. So one question people have is, if you're already in menopause, is it too late to start? The answer is no, it is not too late to start. I don't want to say it's never too late to start, but hormone optimization therapy with bioidentical hormones can improve quality of life, can improve brain function and organ function in any woman at any age during perimenopause or after. It may take a couple months. It'll likely take a couple months to figure out the right balance for you. And so the first couple months, it's going to be giving you hormones and measuring and seeing what works best for you and how your body responds. But hormone replacement therapy is safe and effective for women at any age, over age 40. So after childbearing years, when you're getting into perimenopause, I wouldn't recommend a hormone therapy before perimenopause, and I wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to have children. But after that time, it's safe even for women in menopause, and it can be really helpful for women in menopause to improve brain function, improve mood, and improve organ function and quality of life. Question 2 I got is, what are some of the best supplements for the brain? This is an excellent question. There are a lot of supplements to cover. I will name some of my favorites. Disclaimer, I do have a supplement company that sells brain healthy supplements. So some of the supplements I mentioned, I do have a financial relationship with, and I'm going to give you the best science that I can about them. So first, one that's highly recommended for men and women of all ages, pretty much 18 and over, is magnesium. 7 out of 10 Americans are deficient in magnesium, according to the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA. And magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic processes in the brain. It's in the body, 300 enzymatic processes in the body. It's involved in bone health. It's involved in brain health. It's involved in bone health. It's involved in memory. It's involved in energy. It's involved in the immune system, and it's involved in sleep. Women, you want to know this, women over 50, if you don't have enough magnesium, your body will actually steal magnesium from your bones and use that. So having low levels of magnesium can actually lead to osteoporosis. So I know that's something that you want to avoid. And so the ways to avoid osteoporosis are eat plenty of magnesium-rich foods, consider taking a magnesium supplement, and number 3 is to get your exercise. Exercise and resistance training impact. So you can jump up and down, you can do push-ups, you can lift weights. These things help build stronger bones, and your bones will actually rebuild and remineralize. So make sure you're getting vitamin D either through the sun, a supplement, or both. Be taking eating magnesium-rich foods, consider a magnesium supplement, and get your resistance training, and that'll help maintain healthy bones. So if I could recommend one supplement for pretty much the entire world population, certainly the American population, because we don't eat enough magnesium-rich foods, it is magnesium. Now, what kind of magnesium? First, I'll give you some magnesiums that you want to avoid. You want to avoid magnesium citrate and magnesium oxide. The reason you want to avoid these are low quality. They're very cheap, which is why people buy them. These types of magnesium are poorly absorbed in the stomach. I'm touching my stomach. You can't really see that. And so you don't absorb them, so you don't get the benefit. Number 2, these can actually create stomach upset. So people can actually run to the bathroom when taking them. So they're unpleasant and you don't get the benefit. So avoid those. My favorite types of magnesium, number 1 for the brain, is something called magnesium threonate. Magnesium threonate is a smaller form of magnesium that can cross the blood-brain barrier, and that can get into the brain and be really helpful. So that's my favorite type of magnesium for the brain. Number 2 is magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate is readily absorbed in the stomach. It's very bioavailable. It's good for the brain, good for the body, and good for sleep. And then there's magnesium taurate, which is good for the heart, good for the blood vessels, and helps reduce stress. So those are 3 types of magnesium that are great. Disclaimer, I do have a magnesium supplement. It's called Dr. Love's Magnesium. It's got all those forms of magnesium, plus magnesium malate, which is good for the muscles. And it's also got vitamin D, so it's good for the bones. And it's got shilajit to increase absorption. And you can get that at robertlove.net. You don't need to buy from me, but I want to make sure that you get a magnesium supplement, because magnesium is so important for brain health, body health, energy, sleep. Really, really important. It's foundational. I would start there. Second supplement for the brain that's really, really important is omega-3s. And omega-3s, you can do fish oil or you can do omega-3 algae oil. But you want to make sure you get an omega-3 supplement that is high in something called DHA. Your brain outside of water is made primarily of fat. And so if you want to repair your brain and have a healthy brain, you want to consume healthy fats. And omega-3s are one of the healthiest fats you can eat in food. For example, sardines or salmon or walnuts. And an omega-3 supplement, fish oil, algae oil, these are great for your brain. I recommend the dose of 1,000 milligrams a day of DHA. So you need to read the label on your fish oil or your omega-3 supplement. Try to take 1,000 milligrams a day. I actually take up to 3,000 milligrams a day. I want to make sure my brain has plenty of healthy fats to rebuild and repair itself. That's really, really important. Bonus, taking high doses of fish oil. This is shown to be helpful in pregnant women. They're actually giving birth to healthier babies babies with bigger brains. That's really cool. Max Lugavere shared that research, so that's really neat. And then also, taking a fish oil supplement can actually help reduce blood triglycerides. Blood triglycerides are fat in the blood. So by taking a fish oil supplement, this can actually help have you have a healthier heart. So fish oil, really, really important. So we got magnesium and then fish oil. Something I like to take with fish oil is a methylated B complex vitamin, a methylated B complex vitamin. Research from Dr. David Smith at Oxford found that those who took fish oil and a methylated B complex vitamin, this reduced the risk of Alzheimer's disease by approximately 30%. So these two supplements together can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease by up to 30%, according to research from Dr. David Smith at Oxford. So fish oil and B complex vitamins, very, very important, very well studied. B complex vitamins are also very important for making neurotransmitters. For example, the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. You need B complex vitamins to help make acetylcholine. It's involved in cofactors for that neurotransmitter. Another supplement that I like that you probably heard me talk about a lot is lion's mane. Now, I do have a lion's mane supplement, so I'm very biased in that area. Lion's mane, according to the research, has a number of benefits for the brain. Lion's mane improves memory. Lion's mane improves mood. Lion's mane reduces stress, anxiety, and depression. That's really cool. A lot of research on that. Lion's mane also improves sleep. It helps people fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and fall back to sleep. That is a really darn big deal because poor quality sleep is one of the biggest risk factors of Alzheimer's disease. And so taking a lion's mane supplement to improve the quality of your sleep is really great. By the way, magnesium also improves the quality of sleep. So you can take a magnesium supplement with lion's mane at night. A lot of people notice that they fall asleep faster and then stay asleep longer, taking those two supplements together. So those are some brain supplements. The newest one that's the most exciting is something called creatine. Let me know in the chat if you're taking creatine, or let me know in the comments below if you are taking creatine or you've heard about creatine. Research from Kansas Medical School, published June 4th of 2025, found that 20 grams of creatine actually reversed memory loss in patients with Alzheimer's disease. Let me say that again. Research from Kansas Medical School found that 20 grams a day reversed memory loss in patients with Alzheimer's disease. That is a really, really important discovery. And so if you want the brain benefits of creatine, I recommend starting slow. Start 5 grams a day, then 10 grams a day. Of course, check with your doctor first, and then move up to about 20 grams a day and see if you notice the benefit. I take 20 grams a day, and I do that as many days as I can because I want the creatine to get to the brain. Now, why such high doses? This is important. I was recently at this conference. I asked Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist at Stanford. I got to ask him a question. And I said, what creatine do you recommend? Do you recommend creatine monohydrate or creatine HCl? So there's two types of creatine. And then what dosage? He shared that you need enough creatine to get to the brain. So the muscles, if you don't take enough, the muscles will actually suck up the creatine and it doesn't get to the brain. So if you just take 5 grams a day, that might only get to the muscles. If you want the brain benefits of creatine, you want to take over 10 grams a day. So you want to get to 10, 15, 20 grams a day, and that surplus of creatine can get into the brain, increase brain energy, and that can increase brain function and memory. So that's really great. So creatine is one of the newest supplements that people are talking about based upon the research that's really great for the brain. This is really exciting. This is an expensive supplement, but it's really fantastic for the brain. The FDA actually just approved this as a dietary supplement. It is called NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. Now, for the last couple of years, you could not buy NMN in the United States on Amazon. They wouldn't sell it, but you could buy it in Canada. You can buy it in Asia. I found it in Hong Kong. It was available all around the world, but not in the United States because large pharmaceutical companies lobbied to prevent you from getting access to it. And I know this personally. There are large companies trying to stop you from learning about NMN and getting access to a high quality NMN supplement. I know this because they sent me a cease and desist letter telling me to stop making videos about NMN and stop selling NMN. I sell an NMN supplement, by the way. And so this company came after me telling me to stop making videos about the benefits of NMN. Here's the truth about NMN. It is the most powerful anti-aging and longevity supplement available on planet Earth today. And right now, I'm working on a research paper on the benefits of NMN for the brain. NMN reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease in 9 different pathways. 9 different ways. 9 different ways NMN helps improve the brain and reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease. I'll name you a few. NMN improves memory. It improves memory directly. Number 2, NMN improves blood flow to the brain. That is super important. Number 3, NMN improves energy. Number 4, NMN supports healthy mitochondria. That's really important. NMN is good for your gut bacteria. And there's a great study published in the journal Science. NMN actually reversed insulin resistance in postmenopausal women. So let me tell you about the study. So it's published in the journal Science, which is the top journal in the field of science. And they did a double-blind, placebo-controlled study on women. These women were overweight or obese. They had insulin resistance. That's really important to know. And they were postmenopausal. So postmenopausal, overweight or obese women with insulin resistance. And they gave them either NMN or a placebo. And what they found was that the women given a placebo, given NMN, this actually reversed their insulin resistance. So NMN can actually help reverse insulin resistance, which is absolutely fantastic. So this means it can help reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. So according to the research published in the journal Science, NMN can help reverse type 2 diabetes. That is absolutely fantastic. So NMN, really cutting edge. I don't know if you can hear the sirens around me. There are some Christmas sirens just going off outside, a little crazy. So NMN, tons of benefits for the brain, tons of benefits to the overall body as well. And NMN even helps protect against obesity. Now, NMN is expensive, and it does take a couple of months to begin to notice the benefit, to begin to notice the difference. So don't expect to take NMN just once. So NMN is one of the top supplements for the brain and for the body and for slowing down aging. It actually helps slow down aging in 3 distinct pathways. It helps repair DNA, and it's great for the brain, reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes, and even helps protect against obesity. Someone mentioned David Sinclair on TikTok, and they mentioned David Sinclair. Dr. David Sinclair is a professor from Harvard. He's done a lot of research on NMN. He's recommended that you take 1,000 milligrams a day. So that's the dose you want, 1,000 milligrams a day. And make sure you get NMN beta. That is the shelf-stable form of NMN. Now, this is important. I don't want you getting a low-quality NMN because I want you to get the benefit. Now, the market right now is getting flooded with lots of cheap, low-quality NMN. So here's what to look for to get a high-quality NMN. Number 1, NMN beta. That's the shelf-stable form of NMN. Number 2 is the right dose, 1,000 milligrams a day. I've seen some cheap NMNs. They only have 250 milligrams a day. That's a quarter. That's 1/4 of what you want. So look for 1,000 milligrams a day. And then look for third-party tested and GMP certified. Those are indications of a high-quality NMN supplement. That means that the supplement has been tested by an independent laboratory to confirm quality and safety, and that it's made in a GMP certified facility. So by the way, I've manufactured the best NMN supplement with Dr. Josh Hellman, a medical doctor trained at Harvard. You can get that at robertlove.net. Ours is, of course, NMN beta, 1,000 milligrams a day. And we added 2 bonus ingredients, and methylated B complex vitamins and TMG, trimethylglycine. We added it to that formula to improve the NMN NAD cycle. And we're doing something no one else is doing. We have a 6-month unconditional money back guarantee. Nobody else is doing that with NMN. And I'm doing that because I want you to try it. I want you to give it a try and notice the benefits for your energy, for your brain, for your mood, for your overall health. Someone on Instagram was saying how much they love my NMN. That's great. That's fantastic. I really want a lot of people to try this because it's shown to be so beneficial in the science. You don't need to buy from me, but whatever NMN you get a high quality one. Take it for at least 2 months. 2 months. I want you to know the benefit. And just disclaimer, NMN is expensive. It is the most expensive supplement that I'm aware of that people are talking about. So if you're just getting started, or if you don't have a big budget, don't start with NMN. Not everyone needs to be on NMN. Start with magnesium. Magnesium is one of the least expensive. And then creatine, that's another inexpensive one. Just disclaimer, I have a magnesium supplement and a creatine supplement. But I'd start with those. Those are inexpensive, safe, effective. Do a fish oil supplement, do a B complex vitamin, and then maybe a lion's mane or a curcumin. And then if money's not an issue, then you can try NMN. But don't start with NMN and don't take an NMN supplement if money's tight. That's not where to start. Start with your basics, your magnesium, your fish oil, your B complex vitamins. That will go much further. And lastly, I'm going to share with you a supplement that is very hard to get, but is really interesting. I published a paper about this in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, which is the top journal in the field of Alzheimer's. It is called Aniracetam, spelled Aniracetam. I first learned about this from Dave Asprey in his book Headstrong. So Aniracetam is a pharmaceutical, and it is available in the United States without a prescription, but it's hard to get. Aniracetam improved memory in a double-blind, placebo-controlled study out of Italy in patients with Alzheimer's disease. So they had two groups, people with Alzheimer's, and they all started here with their memory. And the placebo group went down like this. So groups were here with memory. The placebo group, their memory went down over 6 months. The group that took Aniracetam, their memory went down, it leveled off, and then it went up. So by the end of the study, their memory was higher than at the beginning of the study. That's how powerful Aniracetam is. I've given it to people and they felt it that day. It's one of those supplements where you take it that day and you notice it. It's also great for sleep deprivation. It is hard to find though. It is a prescription drug. So you need to talk with your doctor to see if it's safe for you. But that is a really powerful supplement. I call it a supplement, but it is a pharmaceutical drug that is great for the brain as well. I take that, a couple times a month. I would take it more if I had a bigger supply of it, but it's very hard to find, and the amount that I have is running out. So those are some brain supplements. So I know that's a lot, but I want you to get started very simply with your basics: magnesium, fish oil, and a B complex vitamin. That's the best place to start. So lastly, I wanted to share with you some of my best tips for being with family over the holidays. I know family can be stressful. It can be joyous. So here's some things I recommend that you do to make sure that you are your very best during the holidays and that you enjoy your family and enjoy your holiday celebration, whatever it is that you're doing. Number one, prioritize your sleep. So if you're traveling, make sure you're getting plenty of good sleep when you travel to avoid getting sick. One year, I didn't have much money. And I had to buy a really early flight, maybe 7 a.m., maybe 8 a.m. So I was waking up super early. And then that Christmas, I got sick. And so I wasn't even able to see my family. I ended up being stuck in my room for days and days. So I recommend prioritizing your sleep so that way you can avoid getting sick, because if you're sick, you can't spend time with your family, and that defeats the purpose of seeing them over the holidays. So number one is prioritize your sleep. Number two, prioritize your sleep so that way you are patient with your family. Leave a comment below if patience is something that's helpful with your family. When you sleep well, your brain works better and you're patient, and you can actually process what's happening and you can respond in a thoughtful way. When we're sleep deprived, we actually react. We actually have a reflex that we go through. But if we sleep well, we actually respond very thoughtfully. I was at an event and I was next to a very successful person, a mentor of mine, someone I admire very deeply. And someone came up to me and said something very aggressive. And I was shocked. And he very slowly turned and he thought for a moment. And then he thoughtfully responded to what the person said. He did not react. He just received what they said. He thought about it and responded from a place that was not triggered. It was fantastic. It really made an impression on me that he could do that when someone he didn't know very well came up and was rather aggressive in his face about something. And he was unfazed by it and was quite patient with them. So sleep for your immune system, sleep for patience, and just sleep for your overall health. Number two is to prioritize your self-care. Everyone write this down, especially women, write this down. Prioritize your self-care. This is important because a lot of us work really hard during the holidays. We're either cooking or cleaning or traveling or taking care of others. And we don't take care of our own needs. And as a result, we get sick, we get tired, we get unpleasant, we get grumpy. We don't enjoy ourselves. So if you are going to be your best for your family, you really need to take care of yourself first. So block out time for your exercise. Maybe you exercise before you see family, or do your yoga or your meditation or your prayer for your prayer practice or your spiritual practice. Make sure to set aside times to do these things so that way you make sure you do them. And make sure I would recommend regular exercise. This not only improves sleep, improves overall body health, brain performance, but also helps reduce stress. I know a lot of us can carry some stress in our bodies during the holidays. And lastly, I suggest that you enjoy your food, but also make sure you eat plenty of healthy food. So if you just want to eat whatever you want for Christmas or during Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever your celebration is, I'm not going to stop you. So a good thing to do is to eat really nutritious food before going to that big dinner. That way you've already gotten some nutrition in your body. You're not starving, and at least you got some nutritious food by the way. So some of my vegan friends talk about this. They call it pre-meal or pre-eating. So sometimes restaurants don't have vegan food, so they pre-eat. So when they go out to dinner with friends, they've already eaten, so they're not too worried about it. So you don't need to have a full meal before Christmas dinner, by the way, but you can eat something healthy at your home or have a really healthy snack, for example, fruit, or I'll have a tin of sardines. Have something healthy before the meal, so that way you're not starving for the meal, and that way you're not gorging on unhealthy food. Now, if you want to eat unhealthy food, if you want to eat, mashed potatoes, and you want to eat, food with a bunch of sugar and bad fat, that's okay. I'm not going to stop you, but it would be better for your brain and better for your body if you nourish it with some healthy food that's high in fiber. So you can do walnuts and blueberries, for example, and macadamia nuts, and some healthy fatty fish, or or a piece of grass-fed steak. You can eat something healthy before that big meal, and that's going to allow you to enjoy Christmas dinner or enjoy your holiday dinner without feeling too bad afterwards. And then the next day, if you ate a lot, you don't need to eat right away. So a doctor friend of mine told me this, who specialized in weight loss. He said, after Thanksgiving, I recommend don't eat until you're hungry the next day. So if you ate a lot on Thanksgiving, you don't need to eat breakfast the next day. You might even be able to skip lunch. And so you can fast as long as you want after this big meal, after your holiday meal, and don't eat until you need to eat. That way, you'll actually feel much better, because if you ate a huge dinner, you don't need to eat breakfast the next morning. You might even be able to skip lunch. You can go the next day until dinner, and that way you can burn some of those calories and you'll feel much better. So I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful Hanukkah, and a happy holiday season. I love you. God bless you. And I will see you in the New Year's episode.